5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year! From a bunny with a chainsaw cutting open Elon Musk's head. Believe it or not, this is actually a solstice postcard I got from a viewer in where else but Berkeley, California. That's right, Berkeley. I say Berkeley fondly because if I could afford to live in Berkeley, I probably would. Fun fact, I actually applied to go to UC Berkeley for college, but they declined my application. Too bad for them. Do you like my new neon YouTube sign? This was a gift from my brother. Another little known fun fact, my brother used to work for YouTube. But unfortunately, he was just an engineer and not in any position to help me get more subscribers or anything like that. Anyway, for the 20th anniversary of YouTube, I guess earlier this year, they gave these neon lights to all their employees, including my brother. But he actually just quit. He had enough of working for the man, working for Big Brother. He wanted to strike off on his own and have his own adventures. And so he quit working for YouTube probably right after they gave him this neon light. And he didn't want the light anymore. So he gave it to me thinking that it would make a nice backdrop for one of my videos. And it came in just perfectly handy for this video, which is my 2025 YouTube retrospective. That's right, 2025 is finally coming to an end. And like many of you, I couldn't wait to put my boot in its ass on the way out the door. Good riddance to what was, for me anyway, a challenging, confusing, and often frustrating year. But a funny thing happened when I sat down to go through all the videos I shot last year and pick out my top 5 favorite adventures. I realized that I actually went to some pretty amazing places and met some really interesting people in 2025. And let's not forget, I did get a new Forerunner. Well, new to me anyway. And that's definitely something to be grateful for, since it'll get me safely to interesting new places. And I do have a lot of really cool adventures planned for next year. But before we start talking about 2026, let's take a look back at my top 5 adventures of 2025. Now, before I get to my top 5 adventures of 2025, let's talk about what YouTube says were my top adventures. In terms of views, which, for better or for worse, is the metric by which success in our dystopian modern-day world is measured. Coming in at number 5 with 163,000 views, it's the massive abandoned multi-million-dollar illegal grow operation busted and left to rot in the desert. Because who doesn't enjoy looking at piles of toxic waste left strewn about the desert by the federal police and Chinese gangsters? Coming in at number 4 with 165,000 views, it's Adventures in the Arizona Strip. Okay, this one might have had something to do with the fact that I used a clickbaity thumbnail where I made it look like I was about to strip. Yeah, I know. I'm embarrassed that it worked too. Number 3 with 189,000 views is Burning Man 2025. It was better next year. What can I say? People are endlessly fascinated by drug-fueled orgies and piss-poor weather. Next up at number 2 with 214,000 views is Vegas Dead. Is Vegas dead? Is it just hype? Does anyone even care? Apparently, yes. And finally, my number 1 most viewed video of 2025 with 229,000 views. So, you want to move to Pahrump, Nevada? Watch this first. People just can't seem to get enough about Pahrump. And And just for funsies, here's a quick look at my 5 least viewed videos from last year. None of these videos even broke 40,000 views, despite the fact that I burned up untold gallons of gas driving all over Tar Nation to Utah, Nevada, California, and Oregon. Although, at least for my number 1 suckiest video, I didn't have to go anywhere at all. I just sat here complaining about my hair. I made that video back in February and didn't end up getting my hair cut until about 2 weeks ago. Meaning it took me 10 months to get my ass in gear. Oh. Anyway, numbers are just numbers. I mean, yes, I am trying to pay my bills, so I have to be somewhat mindful of what people want to watch. But at some point, I have to do what makes me happy. And so with that in mind, here's my top favorite videos of 2025. Coming in at number 5, in no particular order, it's the Circus Time Machine. Okay, full disclosure, they gave me a free room and a $400 voucher for the steakhouse in exchange for making this video, but I went so completely over the top with the storyline, costumes, and editing that I feel like they should give me free steaks for the rest of my life in exchange for this masterpiece. I mean, it takes some real skills to make circus sexy, right? Again, in no particular order, my number 4 favorite video of 2025, Escape from Eagle Mountain. I didn't have to go very far for this one. All I had to do was drive 45 minutes and put up with the histrionics and hand-wringing of my friend Scott, who did everything he could to ensure we didn't make it to the top of this rugged peak just east of Death Valley National Park. But I persevered, we made it to the top, and I had a lot of fun busting Scott's chops in the process, which I shot in the style of a reality TV show. Which, I should note, was actually Scott's idea. Every now and then he does rub 2 brain cells together and come up with a good one. And speaking of Scott, my number 3 favorite video of 2025 also features my long-suffering sidekick, Plan 9 from Death Valley. In this cheesy 1950s sci-fi style B-movie spoof, me and my awesome new electric moon-cooled tricycle get beamed up by a spaceman in a UFO. Actually, this might be a tie between Plan 9 from Death Valley and the video I shot at the Outpost X glamping resort in Utah. I mean, the weather totally sucked for most of that video, but the little movie I shot at the beginning with my electric vagina and my estrogen ray gun was so much fun to make, I have to include it. What can I say? I'm a sucker for space costumes. Coming in at number 2 on my personal favorite videos of 2025, and remember, this is in no particular order, Rescued from the Bush. From pretty much the minute I landed, my misadventure down under was nothing but one calamity after another. Just days after the CIA confiscated my cell phone at the super secret Pine Gap intelligence base, a wheel fell off our Land Cruiser, leaving us stranded in the middle of the Australian outback. But misfortune often leads to the best adventures, and that was certainly the case in this video, where we went from being busted in the bush to being rescued by the most interesting man in the bush. Australia, where the men are men, and so are the trucks. And finally, my number 1 favorite video of 2025. Why is there a giant chrome bust of Lenin in the desert outside Las Vegas? Okay, this one is also a tie with the video I made about the cell phone towers disguised as water tanks and palm trees. I mean, they both started out as throwaway videos about weird stuff in the desert, but when I researched them, they both turned out to have really interesting backstories, especially the Lenin one. But sadly, numbers don't lie. And apparently, folks would rather watch videos about Pahrump, Las Vegas, and Burning Man. Okay, so I guess 2025 wasn't really that bad after all. But I'm looking forward to 2026 because I already have a bunch of amazing adventures planned for next year, starting next week with a kayak trip down the Colorado River in Black Canyon. Oh, and even before that, I might have an adventure into inner space with this San Pedro cactus. Look at that. Somebody gave us this beautiful San Pedro cactus, which if you know anything about cacti, well, you'll understand why we have this regulator on the table next to it. Just kidding. The regulator actually has nothing to do with the cactus. And in fact, I think I've already said too much about the cactus. Okay, enough about cactus. I'm talking about all the amazing adventures I have coming up in 2026. That's right, it's not just kayaking down the Colorado River in Black Canyon. Yeah, that's right, I had to put on a hat and a puffer coat because it is chilly out here. Anyway, after I get back from kayaking the Colorado River, I'm going to the Cowboy Poetry Festival in Elko, Nevada. Okay, I've always wanted to go to the Cowboy Poetry Festival. I think that's the #1 cowboy poetry festival in the United States. The only problem is it's in January and it's in Elko, meaning it's freezing cold, so you can't really sleep in your car, which means you have to get a hotel room, and that's kind of pricey, and I'm kind of cheap. But this year I decided would finally be the year that I would creak open my wallet and get the cheapest room I could find for 3 nights, I think, so I can go enjoy all the cowboy poetry. It's not just poetry, it's cowboy music, cowboy arts and crafts. I teach you saddle making and line dancing, and it's basically just a celebration of all things cowboy. But I'll be honest with you, the real reason I'm going is because I want to go to that dang tiki bar in Elko. There's this amazing looking tiki bar that has been closed every time I've gone to Elko. And by gum, I want to go have me a Mai Tai in the middle of winter on the snowy plains of northern Nevada. And then after the Cowboy Poetry Festival, I'm going snowshoeing in Santa Fe. That's right, snowshoeing to a hot spring just outside Santa Fe. Okay, my buddy Bill, that I went to Australia with, lives in Santa Fe, and he's been trying to get me to come visit him, but I've had all this stuff going on in my personal life, so I haven't had a chance to get out there until 6 weeks from now. I'm going to fly to Santa Fe, and the idea is we're going to snowshoe to this hot spring, among other adventures. And then after that, I'm going on an overnight train trip. That's right, an overnight train journey where I get to sleep on the train with my buddy Bob that I did that train video with up the Cajon Pass. I guess Bob saw how much I enjoyed train spotting and how much I enjoyed the idea of having a roomette. And so he very kindly booked me my own roomette on, I think it's called the California Zephyr. It goes from basically San Francisco to Denver through some of the most spectacular scenery in the West, and I get my own roomette, which is kind of like a little cubby hole with 2 seats that fold down and make a private bed. So I'm super looking forward to that. And then after that, it'll be time for me to get home and start getting ready for my big Route 66 expedition. Okay, I've mentioned this a time or 3 in my videos this year. I'm planning to do the entire Route 66 all the way from Chicago to Santa Monica with my buddy Turbo, who owns the Route 66 museums in Victorville and Barstow. And we're going to take 4, 5, 6 weeks to do this journey. We're going to stop at every tourist attraction and hokey little roadside gewgaw along the way. That's going to be a ton of fun. And then about a month and a half after I get back from that, I'm going sailing in Tahiti. That's right, I'm going sailing in Tahiti to some hot spring on an island. I don't know. Another viewer of this channel, I think, was inspired by Bill, who I went down under with. You know, Bill was, and he said, he was very open about it, 79 years old, but still traveling around having adventures. Well, this other viewer thought, well, I want to be like Bill. And so he decided he always wanted to go sailing. And I think he booked us a crewed sailboat, so we don't have to do any of the crewing, the work. We just get to ride around on this sailboat, island hopping, whatever it is, for I think a full week. But that's not until July, so I have a feeling many more smaller adventures are going to pop up in between now and then, including the biggest adventure And the reason why I'm down here in my trailer, that I'm going to be going on here in just about 2 weeks, I'm going to Quartzsite, Arizona. That's right, I'm hitching up the old vintage canned ham travel trailer and taking it down to the mean streets of Quartzsite for the nomad get-together. I'm not sure what it's called. I know there's the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous, but my understanding is that the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous is just one event at Quartzsite. Okay, if you don't know anything about Quartzsite, it's this town or village in Arizona that's surrounded by BLM public lands that are free to camp on. And so every winter, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, I think up to 1 million snowbirds, van dwellers, nomads that live in all manner of vehicles all sort of converge on Quartzsite to spend the winter in a place where the weather is relatively balmy and the public lands are abundant. And you know you're going to be among like-minded people, okay? All these people living in school buses, vans, truck campers, Priuses. You know, if you watch Bob Wells' Cheap RV Living, he does a big thing. He started the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous, as a matter of fact. So he's down in Quartzsite every year for at least 2 weeks. A lot of people stay down there for months, even maybe the entire season. Well, I'm just going to go down for probably a week, 10 days. I'm going to hitch up and drag this 1,700-pound albatross down there with me so that I can kind of experiment with living the nomad life. Okay, you know, I'm trying to sell my house in Vegas. I don't really know where I want to go, what I want to do. And I'm not going to lie, the thought has crossed my mind a time or 10 that maybe I should try van life. Okay, it kind of seems trite and corny on the one hand, like, oh, okay, YouTuber going into van life, you know, you're just doing that because you want to get views. Like, what next? Are you going to get a dog? Well, no, I'm not going to get a dog, I don't think, but I don't know, I've always wanted to try living on the road full time, but this won't be full time. I mean, this right now is only going to be for 10 days, but even if I do decide to become nomadic, it won't be like a full-time thing because I'll always have my base camp up here at the compound. I'll always have the casita to come crawling back to and store all my costumes and other BS in. But, you know, I might try van lifing or nomadic living 6 months out of the year, 8 months out of the year. And so I figure going to Quartzsite would kind of be an interesting trial run. You know, I'm going to clean out my trailer. It's still full of all the crap I brought with me to Burning Man, but if I get rid of these spare bike tires, get rid of my bike. Oh, sorry, it's real dark in here. It gets dark so friggin' early this time of year. Turn on my flash. You know, I'll clean it out. I'll fill the cupboards with, you know, foods and whatnot that I might eat down in the Arizona desert. I just brought this carpet down here because I'm not using it anymore upstairs, and I thought, oh, this might be a cozy addition. And as a matter of fact, somebody sent me this cute little copper tea kettle, not unlike the one I used to carry as a purse when I was in high school, that I can use in here on the stove to boil water. I just kind of thought it might be fun to play house in my trailer for, I don't know, 7-10 days. Oh gosh, I didn't mean for it to get this dark this early. Thank Christ that bunny with the chainsaw cut open Elon Musk's head, which means there's, what, 6 more weeks of winter and then it's finally gonna be summer again? Okay, I don't know about all that, but we did just celebrate the solstice last week and the days are getting incrementally longer. Anyway, dark or no dark, you get the idea. I'm loading up my trailer and I'm playing nomad, which I know is very bougie of me because I'm well aware of the fact that many folks turn to the nomad life because they don't have the means to live anywhere else. They don't have a sister and a compound and a place to stay. But you know what I mean. I'm not disrespecting the lifestyle. I'm just trying it out for myself because I have a feeling that I'm really going to take to it. You know, I'm meeting up with another YouTuber down there. Oh, hell, I'll just go ahead and say it. I'm meeting up with my friend Wandering Gypsy. She's going to be down there too. And she said I could camp in her area, so we're just going to kind of hang out together, and I have a feeling that I'm going to meet so many interesting people and have so much fun down there amongst the nomads that I'm never going to want to come home. It's going to be like running away to join the circus, and I'm very well aware, and this is part of what's stopped me from van lifing previous to this. I'm very well aware that it's not all fun and games when you're living on the road. Like, of course, when you look at these van life accounts on Instagram, it's always some beautiful chick laying in the back of a van at the beach, looking out of the ocean with a golden retriever. Well, they don't show you all the flat tires and broken down vehicles, dead batteries, all the trying to find a place to park every night. I know there's a lot of headaches associated with van life, but I have a feeling that the rewards will vastly outweigh the inconveniences. All you nomads watching can let me know in the comments if I'm right. So anyway, I'm planning to go down to Quartzsite. I think the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous starts January 10th and goes for a week, something like that. So that's my tentative plan. I'm going to go down there January 10th and stay for at least a week. I mean, I do have to go to the Elko Cowboy Poetry Festival at the end of January, so I can't stay in Quartzsite forever, but I can fudge it a little bit, and so I might end up staying a week and a half. I don't know. I mean, there's cell signal down there, so that's not going to, needing internet access, that won't stop me. Taking a shower and washing my hair, that will be kind of a pain. I'll have to go to the friggin' Love's truck stop in Blythe every 5 days to wash me hair. The toilet situation, I do have a chemical toilet in here, so I'll have to bring some plastic bags along, if you know what I mean. But I think I can figure it out, figure out what kinds of foods to bring, figure out some kind of heater, because that's the main downside is it's going to be really cold there in the mornings. It's nice during the day, like Arizona is very pleasant during the day when the sun is out, but overnight it gets real chilly, and this trailer is not insulated. So I'm thinking, Jeepsy said I could borrow her Mr. Buddy heater, but I feel like those Mr. Buddy heaters suck a lot of propane, so that could be kind of expensive. I only need to run the heater a little bit in the morning when I'm getting out of bed, because I like sleeping when it's cold. In fact, I love sleeping when it's really cold and I have a bunch of blankets. So I think I'll sleep just fine. It's just getting up in the morning, boiling water in my little kettle. I'm going to need some kind of heat source, and so I'll either use her Mr. Buddy, or I was considering, I saw a video once where you can burn a candle under an upside down clay pot, like a flower pot, and that radiates heat somehow. I was kind of thinking I might try that. I don't know. I'm open to ideas. If you have any ideas as to how I can stay warm and it's something that I can get or make in the next 12 days, let me know in the comments. Ugh, it is getting dark fast, so I guess I better wrap this video up. Another beautiful winter's day in Death Valley coming to an end. And I'm not gonna lie, winter cannot come to an end soon enough for me, man. I am tired of wearing this fur hat. I'm tired of wearing this puffer coat. I'm tired of wearing these galoshes. I want to get back in my magic bikini and my flip-flops. Unfortunately, there won't really be anywhere to do that down in Quartzsite. I don't think there's any hot springs in the immediate Quartzsite area, but that's okay. Hopefully it'll be warm enough in the afternoon that I can at least sit out in front of my camper in my magic bikini and catch a few rays. So if you're going to be in Quartzsite for the RTR or any of the other events, you're going to be camping out in Quartzsite this coming season, or maybe you're already there and you want to come say hi, well, I want to do some kind of meet and greet down there. And my original plan was, I'll just have a meet and greet party at my camp. But then I started thinking about that. If I announce that I'm having a party at my camp, everyone's going to know where my camp is, and I'm not going to get a moment's rest. I'm going to be besieged by people coming to say hi and visit me, which I love. I'm a very social person, but I also like my privacy. So I'll either do the meet and greet at my camp on the last day I'm there, or I'm also thinking about doing it at one of the local bars in Quartzsite. Okay, there's this place called the Quartzsite Yacht Club, which is kind of a funny name because Quartzsite is, I don't know how many 100 miles from any coast, but there's this place called the Quartzsite Yacht Club, and it's kind of a nautical themed bar. And this guy I know from here, who spent the last couple winters here, this guy who dresses like a pirate, in fact, he goes by Pirate, he was working as a bartender at the yacht club, and he suggested I have my meet and greet party there. Now, I'm not sure he's still working there. I have to touch base with him and make sure that I would still be able to do that there, but I don't know, that kind of seems like a fun place to have a party too. And it's public, so I don't have to worry about anybody knowing where I'm camping. I'm banging on my door in the middle of the night trying to preach Jehovah's word to me. Or come by and try to do even worse than that. You know what I mean. Oh man, it's so dark you can't even see my keys. My friend Scott got me this awesome old keychain. Room number 69 at the Frolic Motel. Ooh la la. I guess you can call this the Frolic Motel. Actually, now that I look at it, I do need to gussy up the old rig a bit before I go down to Quartzsite. You know, since this is sort of my debut into the boondocking lifestyle, I feel like I need to have a much nicer coming out dress, so to speak, than this busted old facade. I always meant to buff this thing and get it nice and shiny and silver, or at the very least paint some kind of crazy psychedelic desert mural on it, but unfortunately I never did get around to any of that. I did finally put a sticker on here. Look at that. Clothing optional beyond this point. Ultimate Hot Springs Guide. You guys ever go to the Ultimate Hot Springs Guide website? I actually just ran into the guy who runs it over here at Death Valley Hot Springs the other day when I was over there shooting my video for it. He was there, and that guy, I mean, his website has millions of views because he's not afraid to put pictures, directions, coordinates, and tell you all about all these different hot springs, which if I tried to do that, I have a feeling I'd get my ass handed to me on a platter. But anyway, before I put that sticker on here, the only sticker I had on here was my name that I wrote in those awesome mailbox letters like you buy at Home Depot. But I decided, you know, if I'm going to be living in this thing, I might as well decorate it a bit. So I put that on there. I put this awesome metal bat from Secret Valley. If you know, you know. And then another viewer sent me all these amazing vintage stickers from all these destinations like Nevada, a Painted Desert, Lake Mead, the Hoover Dam, Meteor Crater, or my favorite, Arizona. Man, again, I'm really sorry I ran out of daylight making this video. I'm doing the best I can. Anyway, I think these vintage stickers are super cool because they kind of go with the retro aesthetic of my vintage canned ham. So I'm gonna put a bunch of these vintage travel stickers on the same little door here with my clothing optional sticker, and I feel like I'll fit right in with all the other weirdos in Quartzsite. And again, I use the term weirdos affectionately because I consider myself to be, if not the biggest weirdo in the world, then at least a close second or third, as anyone who's been watching my channel for any length of time surely knows by now. Anyway, it's getting real dark, so I guess I'm just gonna wrap this up and go back inside and start editing this video. I actually shot a way more interesting video yesterday that I'm looking forward to editing and putting up even more than this, but I'm gonna save that one till Friday because I figured it's the end of the year, man. I might as well do some kind of 2025 end of year retrospective, and that's just what I've done. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you tune in for all my future adventures in the new year. But more than even that, I hope that you, yes, you, and even you, yes, I know you send me some really nasty emails sometimes, and I hear the things that you're yelling at your TV, okay? I'm like Santa Claus. I see you when you're sleeping. I see you when you're awake. Even you. I hope all of you have an amazing 2026 full of good health, sunshine, and fabulous adventures. But even if you don't, well, you can just tune in here and live vicariously through mine.